All right, guys, so I'm going to show you how to work the software so that you can print to either of the makerbot printers. That's the replicator or the mini. You're going to use the same software for both. You just need to be careful that you are connected to the correct one because they're both going to start with my last name visible in the network, so make sure that you know if you're on the replicator or the mini. So a couple things are going to look different on your screen than mine. First of all, I've already connected to the printers. So they show up under my printers here, but what you're going to do, the first thing you're going to do is connect to both of them, even if you know which one you're going to use. So the way you're going to do that is you're going to click Add a Printer, you're going to click Add a Network Printer, and then you should see both printers show up in this area right here. They're not showing up for me because I've already had them, so they don't show up here. Now when you add them though, you're going to see this little window is going to pop up and it's going to tell you to press the flashing button on the printer. So you need to walk over to that printer and press the button and that will connect your laptop to the printer. You should only have to do that the first time that you connect. You should not have to do it each time. Once you've connected, what will end up happening is what you kind of saw on my screen at the beginning is it's connecting to a printer here. So if I click this, I can connect to any of these printers that I have selected. So I want you to notice the replicator is called Pasifumi 3D printer. You can see it says replicator 5th gen right there. And then you can see Pasifumi MakerBot Mini. So right now I'm connected to the replicator. So notice the workspace here, the build plate size. If I change to the mini, you're going to notice that it's going to change the size and layout of that right there. So that's another visual cue that you're on the right one. But you really, guys, really need to check that. Don't just see the name Pasifumi and go with that. Okay? So once you have this open, before you can do anything, you need to add a file to it. So this file would be that you've downloaded to your computer. You're still going to always upload your files to Google Drive in case I would need to do anything with them. Let's say you leave class and your print fails while, after you've left. If I have time to print it for you again, I would need to be able to access it in Google Drive. Okay? So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go over to File. You're going to click Insert File, and you're going to choose your 3D file, which, if it's in your snips folder, your download folder, wherever it is. So I'll just pick one I have on here. This is one of yours right here. So this is the rocket ship that I think Jonathan Gemke did. So first things first, notice if I was doing this on the mini, it doesn't fit. So I would need to scale that down. On the right over here are the different things you can use to kind of change the layout of the printer. Let's start with the print settings because that's most important. When you click on the gear, it's going to show you some of the common print settings for this. Now some of these you're going to need to add on it, but basically the important things are infill density, in fact, I'll delete these so I can show you how to add them right now. So when you do this, you're probably only going to have what you see right here, rafts, and I don't even know if you'll have support there or not. But if you click on Add a Custom Setting, now you can go through and select the things that you want. So these are the ones that you want. So you're going to click on, you're going to make sure that under Quick Settings, raft is checked. It should be by default. You're going to check Infill Density. I think that's it for this one. You're going to go to Extruder, and down at the bottom, you're going to pick Extruder Temperature. You're going to go to Infill, which we've already selected it, but just make sure that it's checked off, Infill Density. And then Raft and Base. Raft should already be checked off by default, but if it's not, it's at the top. So make sure that one is checked. It makes it a little bit crowded over here, but that's okay. So these are the things that you need to do. So you're going to leave whatever extruder, it detects it automatically. You're never going to need to change that as far as I know. Always leave it balanced. It should be that by design. If you need support, and if I haven't said you can't use support, you might want to check this. Infill density is going to depend on what you're using it for. If it's just a decoration, put it at 5. If it's going to be used and handled and need to be a little bit more durable, you can go as high as 20 for infill density. But keep in mind, the higher the infill density, the longer it's going to take to print, and the more chances are that something is going to go wrong. Extruder temperature is set to 220 by default. That's probably fine. I like to go 215 though. That seems to have worked better, but it's not a huge issue. And then always have raft checked. When you're done with that, if you click the gear again, that'll go away. These things over here allow you to kind of do different things with the object on the work plane. So I said it's too big. So one way that we would do that is we would scale it. So when you scale it, you have the option to type in the percentages right here. So it's 100% for X, Y, and Z right now. And then it'll show you the millimeter size here. So let's say I want to change the x-axis, which is 120. Let's change that to 100. And if I hit tab, all the others are going to rotate just like that one did. Now it's off center a little bit. Looks like it might fit. Actually, I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller. Let's make this one 85. Okay, and it's off the work plane a little bit, so we do need to move it onto the work plane. If you just go to grab it right now and move it, you'll be okay. But you got to be careful you don't actually hit one of these letters, because then you might actually start shrinking it or expanding it. So you can rotate around to make sure that it fits on the work plane. Everything is going to go good. Once you've got what you want, I would advise that you save this. So save project. This is going to be a slightly different file. Well, not slightly different. It's going to be completely different than the STL file. But I would save them to the same spot. And I would give it the same name, but I might just call it project or something like that. But this way, if there's a mistake, you can just open it up on your computer again and print it. When you're ready to print, you're satisfied everything, all your settings are right, and you're good, you can go ahead and click on export. But actually, you should be able to click on print. Mine just, I don't think the mini's on right now, so I'm gonna select to the replicator, which is on, and it's going to connect to it, and then the print button should become highlighted. Well, it's having a little trouble at the moment connecting, but it'll be good. This print button will then become active, and you can go ahead and print to it. Okay, so that's how you print to the replicator or the mini. Good luck. There's the print button right there.